So, good morning, everybody. Hi, we are here doing our Business Boost Academy podcast. Today, I'm really pleased to say I've got Dave Young with me, who is a TikTok expert. He's basically a TikTok, can't even say it, shop and growth sales expert. And he's also a TikTok partner known as a TSP. So, Dave, how are you doing today, mate? You good?
Yes, very well, Steve. How are you, mate?
I'm not too bad at all. So, just to give the users or the people who are watching a little bit of an idea, a little bit of a background about yourself, what's been your business journey up to this point, mate?
I won't go all the way to the beginning, but I will say, as a TikTok shop partner, I've been with them now for about 2 years.
Yeah,
It'll be 2 years this February, actually. Um, and the journey with them has been a lot of ups and downs. Um, I would say at the very beginning, TikTok were trying to guide me and my business partner at the time to actually launch a TikTok shop studio, so we can host and perform lives, help brands out, obviously feature them in our showcase, and obviously talk about them and do live demonstrations. But that didn't come to tuition after about 4 or 5 months in of trying to get that established with the actual university of down south near you, actually, Steve. So the partner at the time, he was in uni, so we were actually, sort of toing and froing between the people who were interested in this, the lecturers who wanted to get involved. But unfortunately, they just went really cold on us. We didn't get that launch. So at the very beginning of this journey, it was very mixed in terms of where TikTok wanted us. So when that fell to pieces, shall we say, we moved on to, well, before we moved on to, I moved on to, because he then quit the business essentially. So it's pretty much been me for the past year and a half. Since then, I've been focusing on the educational side, because TikTok, the platform and the shop, the marketplace, is very dynamic in terms of understanding what it wants from its users. So that's what I really do focus on when I educate anyone who joins TikTok, is understanding the platform. What does it want from you as a user? Either if you're a creator, a seller, obviously open up a shop on there, and basically give you like the best strategies and guidance of my knowledge possible, so we can generate a business out of it, because everyone does has that chance and that opportunity to actually make a new stream of revenue from this platform. And a lot of people are doing it, especially like the younger guys as well. So anyone who is looking to do TikTok shop, I would highly suggest jumping on it this year before it gets a little bit too saturated.
yeah. I think it was Gary Vaynerchuk, wasn't it, that came out about and sort of talked about TikTok a few years ago, and was saying if you're a creator, this is the next platform that you want to be on.
Yeah.
And it really exploded from there, because it's very different to your traditionals like your Instagrams and your
Mm.
Facebooks and your LinkedIn's, isn't it? So um it, why is it so different, Dave? What is the difference between those platforms that people like myself, somebody in their 50s who is fairly, I would say, ignorant where social media is concerned? What makes TikTok very different? Why are people sort of flocking to it?
I think it pretty much goes back to, like, social media in general. You first had Meta, Facebook, Instagram popping off, and everyone used it back in the day. TikTok came along, what, 8, 9, 10 years ago. It was predominantly built for the younger generation, because essentially what was happening, in the sort of social media world, is that a lot of businesses, a lot of the mid to late users of age were just continuously using like Facebook, Instagram, but nowhere for like the youth. So this is why they started TikTok. This is why a lot of 30, 40, 50-year olds sort of don't go to TikTok, because they still think that it's this dancing platform, lip syncing, music, and all of this sort of stuff. This is where like the confusion gets a little bit confusing, because like the platform now is basically built on for the older generation, because of the SEO capabilities of it, and the discoverability, the searchability. the reach and the engagement, the awareness that you can build out of it compared to what Instagram is now. It's an incredible platform. So that's why the switch is predominantly going over to TikTok, because the way you actually post content on the platform, it's seen by hundreds, thousands, millions of people, as where if you post on like Instagram or Facebook, only your followers see it.
Yeah, it's a massive difference, isn't it? And a lot of the algorithms within Facebook and LinkedIn and those other platforms, they only show it to a proportion of your followers as well. So,
Exactly.
and it's not until the content sort of starts to get a bit of traction, I suppose, that they start to show it to more and more people. So TikTok's algorithm works in a slightly different way, does it?
It does, yeah. So essentially, you open up TikTok on your phone, you scroll through, that's called the feed, the
Yeah.
for you. Whenever you post on there, it's your job to beat TikTok's statistics, its key metrics is, and we'll come on to that a little bit later on. But essentially, you post a video, you're then getting valued, okay, for feedback from the platform. If you get enough feedback from the people that initially watch your videos, then you'll get pushed further along. So essentially, it's like an open platform, as whereas Instagram, okay, you've got Reels, they work great, okay, but not as good as TikTok. So you don't, I don't personally know the key metrics is that you sort of need for Instagram and Facebook, whereas for TikTok I do. I sort of know all the individual steps that TikTok are looking for and how we can actually beat it and hack for more traffic. So yeah, definitely Instagram and Facebook has its place, but TikTok has that capability of getting you millions of viewers, and you've only got 1,000 followers, 500. It really doesn't matter.
Yeah. Okay. So now is probably a good time to ask you about the elephant in the room, I suppose, is the easiest way to describe it. Obviously, a few days ago, we're recording this on the 25th of January. And I think it was the 18th or the 19th of January, the Americans decided they were going to switch TikTok up off.
Mm,
And then obviously President Trump was inaugurated and he's overturned that. So, and they've overturned it, I believe, for 75 days is the thing that they've said.
yeah.
Something like that. So why is it that people are wary of TikTok? What is it? What's making people, or what's making the governments wanting to turn the platform off for the people of the citizens of their country?
I I am no I'm not big into politics myself. I don't really follow them. However, the bigger picture, the way that I sort of see it as a TikTok user, an educator on the platform, is that this whole thing about turning the platform off is pretty much when Trump started to use TikTok,
Right.
because his very first video got like 40 million, 100 million, whatever it was, and he continued to obviously post on the platform. And this is when he was running for election. So I believe the Biden administration and everything that is going on in the world today, the cancellations of people, you can't say this, don't offend that sort of group of people, and all that sort of stuff, started when Meta had to change its. Sorry, Steve.
That's
You
all right.
guys, you guys going out? All right, shut the door behind you, please. Kids going out to play. Too
Don't
early.
worry.
Don't make too much noise. So essentially, right, um, so when the Biden administration wanted to sort of look into this, it was, I think, like my way of thinking it is when Trump started to use the platform, because he was then winning like the hearts and minds of the younger generation because of the reach and the exposure he was getting, whereas Biden didn't do any of that. Then
Yeah.
he fell at the waist. Then Kamala,
Yeah.
is that
Kamala Harris. Yeah.
Kamala Harris. So she then stepped in, and this is where then the podcast race started to start. She only did about four. I think Trump did about like 30, 40, or 50 podcasts. But again, when you appear on these podcasts, because all of these guys are using social media to spread their awareness about their brand, their podcasts, and everything, all their talks, they're getting so much more eyeballs onto what the opposing party is saying. So
Yeah.
this is when, this whole debate of cancelling the platform. I don't really think it's behind, okay, they've always had a bit of a long streak of privacy and security against the Chinese country, but To be honest, I think it's like a little bit of when the election was sort of going on and Trump was winning. This is when they really tried to heavily like stop the platform from being open. And then lo and behold, it got cancelled. A few hours later, it gets put back on because Trump wants it on. However, now the whole debate, because I watch a lot of reels on TikTok about it, on Instagram. You've got Kevin O'Leary, obviously one of the Shark Tank entrepreneurs. He is now trying to put a bid with all the investors behind it, with securing half of the platform, so
Mhm.
they own half of it. Now, what's going to possibly come of that later on? We don't know. Are they going to start changing the algorithm? Is creepy little Mark Zuckerberg and all the other big tech giants going to get their hands in it? We don't know. So hopefully they don't change anything because the algorithm is perfect the way it works. I hope they don't change it because I'm gonna have to learn a whole bunch a whole bunch more. But I don't think they will.
Yeah,
They just want to have data. They just want to know what the world and the economy is sort of doing, don't they? They want to be knowing what part of the US is doing here, what demographics are into this, and this is how let's go into sort of the global businesses that sort of control the world, control products and everything, getting people to buy things. The consumer side of things. So whenever they have data sheets like this and they know what's sort of trending, they'll just release obviously products based on that. This is what you
right.
always see. Like when I'm going off on a tangent here, you got me
Yeah, so
going on, Steve.
yeah,
But when you like sort of shop towards Christmas, and there's always something new going on, isn't there? I
yeah,
know
yeah,
when my daughter's a lot younger, like in Primark, they started to print the tops with all the sequins on it, unicorns, and they're teaming up with all the Disney characters and all of that. It's always led up towards Christmas, and it's like trending.
yeah,
So that's like again, just looking at the data because they've got loads of it. They can obviously go right. We're going to launch this sort of product with this company or whatever. It's global capitalism, isn't it?
yeah,
And,
yeah,
and I
yeah.
think that's what the Americans sort of want. They want the data, so it benefits them as well.
Right, okay. Yeah, I know what you mean about the whole political element to it. I've always wondered when you see these sorts of things, you sit there and you start thinking that there's usually some kind of underlying reason behind this.
Mm.
Um, and obviously the spin on it has been that they don't want their citizens' data to be in the hands of a foreign power or whatever it will
Yeah,
be. And I don't know. I'm very skeptical with all of this sort of thing. So all in all, then. So you mentioned earlier on, Dave, about TikTok being, you think it's going to be a really big growth platform for 25. And I must admit, when I was researching, sitting down, talking to you, and conversations that I had with you in the past and everything else, it seems that TikTok is going to be a really, really big platform for business over the next sort of certainly 12 months, a real growth area for business over the next
yeah.
12 months. So why is that? Why has the shift happened from it being, like you say, a lip syncing, dancing, fun, jokey platform to actually being a platform that businesses can use to grow their business? Where has that shift come about?
It's come about, to be honest. 2 years ago, 2 3 years ago, should we say, where TikTok launched. Small businesses were jumping on it because it's a new area, they want to explore it. And now 2 years later in 2025, you've got small businesses that have limited amount of resources, stock, inventory, capital to work with. Just by placing a few videos and going live on this platform has turned them into multi-million pound businesses. And it's because of the way that the platform shows your videos and your lives to an audience, and it's not your followers. Like followers on TikTok doesn't matter whatsoever. But with it being an open platform, I'm doing a bit of an experiment with an account, teaching my students at the moment. Already I've got 1,000 followers. I can now go into the marketplace, add products to my videos, and now make a revenue from it, from the
Right.
commission that's earned from people buying, clicking on the link, and purchasing that product. So the shift on the way we're consuming content and then purchasing it, it's way different from traditional businesses. Well, traditional e-commerce where we are running, ads on the radio, TV, online, Meta, whatever platform you're sort of using. You don't really need to spend hundreds of thousands on advertising anymore. Because people are literally using it on TikTok for free. And
Yeah.
if you're able to sort of understand what the platform wants, and hopefully I can help many out there understand it. But once you crack the code on TikTok, that's it. You wouldn't use another platform, to be honest, as much as you would have been doing previously, because it's just so powerful in the awareness and the reach that you can obtain from it, from
Cool.
very simple tasks.
So listening to you talk there is interesting because you're talking mainly about product-based businesses,
Yeah.
with the TikTok shop and everything else. Do you think that there's going to be a growth in service-based businesses as well? So people offering education, for example, people offering consultancy, those sorts of things. We've got accountants, solicitors, and all of that
Hmm.
make up this wonderful world that we call the economy. Um, do you think that there will be a shift for people who are offering services to be using TikTok as well, or do you think it's just going to stay mainly with product-based businesses?
No, so I'm literally just talking about TikTok Shop at the moment, but for service-based businesses, they can sell digital products. So if they're selling, sort of what we're doing, and it's educational, it's full of value, it's knowledgeable, people want to learn that specific sort of area, and if you've got enough skill to provide people, then recorded videos like this and selling them for £1, £10, whatever subscription or value you place on that, you can put it onto TikTok as well.
Right.
So for service-based businesses, a lot of them. Can you hear my dog yapping in the
Yeah, no, not
background?
really. Yeah, don't worry about it.
Hold on. Is she? Because she's a puppy and she'll do accidents in the house. So I've got to keep
Don't worry,
my
that's
eye on
fine.
it.
Yeah,
But yeah, businesses, service. Again, I just go back to how your awareness can be out there. I'm sure a lot of people who set up their businesses 5, 10, 15 years ago all jumped on Instagram. They all jumped on Facebook. And, you know, they probably did it for maybe 6 months, a year or two, and they don't use it anymore. And it's all down again through word of mouth, which is then a traditional way. I know you, Steve, have built your businesses from that, is through word of mouth. But yeah, the digital age is very much here. It's here to stay. So a lot of businesses now should shift to yeah, being more open on platforms like TikTok, because they
yeah.
can drive a lot of traffic to themselves.
It's interesting because I think when obviously Dave, I'm a couple of years older than you, mate.
Yes. Okay.
When obviously social media first became a thing. I mean, I've been on LinkedIn personally since about 2003. It was launched in 2003, and I joined it in December 2003. Um, and it was just this newfangled thing that, you should be on it. And I didn't really start using LinkedIn properly until about 2015 because I didn't really understand how to make it work for me. And I think this is the thing with social media when it first came out as an opportunity to do something on it. People didn't really understand. They didn't understand the potential it had, the reach that it had. So people never really used it properly. Now, as time has gone on, and obviously Meta have improved the way that they do things, and they've given people the opportunity to boost their posts and put shops in place and all of those sorts of things on their platforms and whatnot. They've become more savvy, and as the time has worn on, people have become more aware of the use of social media. But with something like TikTok, because there's that education that social media can be really, really useful for you, people are now looking at it thinking, actually, how can I use this for business? So I think TikTok for business has probably advanced quicker than some of the more, like you say, traditional social media platforms in terms of digital marketing. So it's quite there seems to have been there's more awareness. How can I use it? I mean, I don't use TikTok a great deal. I've got to be honest with you. Part of the reason behind that is it's just another social media platform to learn and everything else. But I'm keen to actually start utilizing it because I can see the value in it, and see how to make things go. So I within within other social media platforms such as Instagram or Facebook or whatever, there are various trends, and people tend to follow those trends and everything else. Does TikTok have the same sort of thing with it? Do people follow trends with TikTok, or is it something that people are just posting random stuff? How does it work?
Yeah, I mean, I am unmuted, yeah. So you post, everyone around the world, there's millions of people using the platform and millions of creativeness being posted every single hour of the day. If something then goes viral and it's trending, then everyone tends to jump on that trend because they want a shot at going viral themselves.
Mm.
Now, most of the time, it doesn't quite happen. You have to be very quick at jumping on these trends. But in terms of would a business then use that trend? I personally wouldn't, because again, if you are really trying to target a specific audience on the platform, then jumping on the trend isn't going to get you any more attraction than doing any educational based content would do. For me, trends is a bit of a no go for any business, TikTok shop or whatever, because again, it doesn't help with attracting the accurate audience that you want to acquire. So if you're a creator, by all means jump on it because you're just after the views. You're after that boost in yourself of satisfaction,
Hmm.
of getting them views and going, oh, I got 1 million today, excellent from this video. But for a business, stay away stay away from trends because it won't do you any justice. I could probably go way more deeper into that, but I won't. Just for business purposes, stay away from trends. Creator, having a laugh, go for it.
Excellent. So you obviously then, because you're staying away from trends, when you're working with your clients, you obviously have a methodology that you work on to grow through. And you said, obviously, I know, we've spoken a lot with mates, and we've talked about the courses that you're running and everything else. So are you working your students through a particular methodology to help them grow their following and grow the content, the views that the content has?
Yeah, exactly. So what I will do is basically take them from day one, week one, and get them to understand what the platform wants from us as a user. Then after a couple of weeks and many sessions later, we'll look into obviously how to structure content correctly as a group, and then we'll move on to like going live, etc. But then the way that I work with people is a lot of one-on-one interaction because I can go as broad as I can and make 100 different companies all in different sectors understand the platform and how to build a well structured bit of content. But then it's really down to that individual's bit of content and their business and their aim, their goals, their targets on who they want to really attract and acquire as new clients. So that's where I sort of really do step in as a one-to-one expert and help these businesses understand the platform on their level. Because again, everyone's at different stages. Because this platform is all video based, you have to be, no one's a creative person when they first jump onto TikTok. So you have to sort of learn a brand new skill, or you can, get other people to do it for you and you pay, creators, affiliates. I don't tell people to do that either, to be honest. So yeah, if you've got the time to sort of learn this platform, then absolutely do it. If you don't mind putting your face on camera, absolutely do it. TikTok is the best tool, the
Right. Okay.
best.
Yeah. And I think nowadays as well, once it's something that I'm learning a little bit about, I'm doing more video selfies and reels and talking to camera. And I think part of the reason that I'm doing that is because I want, I'm very much about authenticity and credibility.
Mm.
And I want to do it myself. I want to show my face. I want to effectively put my head above the parapet to do that kind of thing. With the tools that are out there nowadays, the video editing tools that are fairly free to use, the AI tools that you can use to help give you an idea on sorts of content that you can create. um it makes life for somebody who's not a particularly creative person easier because it gives you the ideas and the things that you can structure. So when you're sort of like doing your TikTok, what key strategies would you say a business needs to really focus upon, if they, we've got the traditional marketing ideas, like you've got to know who your target market is, you've got to know, you've got to speak to your target market, you've got to know what the problems they experience and the things that the solutions that you can solve for those people and all those sorts of things. And that's obviously the traditional marketing sort of way. Obviously, what you're talking about with TikTok is you get your video, you put your video, you put it out there, and it just goes pushes far and wide. How can you strategize to make sure that your content is hitting the people that you want your content to hit?
So that is then coming down to understanding what the platform wants from us as a user.
Right.
So basically, understanding the algorithm. A lot of online gurus have tried to put their best knowledge out there. However, I've had an incredible mentor in my time, so I know exactly what it's after. And many people who have followed the key metrics is that TikTok are after, and then produced, better refined content, shortening their videos. They have always seen a higher rate of traffic being brought to them, and it's just down to understanding what the platform wants. So imagine, us as the user, we want to get in front of our target audience, okay, or as many eyes as we can. But there's someone in the middle that will stop us from going to our audience, and that is the platform. So this is where you need to understand what they want before you even get to your audience.
Right. Okay. Wow. So that's actually, so like you say, it's really about understanding how to make the platform work for you. And
Exactly, yeah.
that's actually critical. Um, so obviously that's where you come in, because you understand the platform, and you know how to make the platform work for yourself.
Mm.
Um, is that a time, does that take a lot of time to be able to understand that side of things? Or it sounds very much from what you're saying is, when if you're just going into, right, I'm going to use TikTok today, right, I've decided I'm going to put my marketing strategy out, I'm going to start using TikTok. Unless you know how to make it work, it won't work for you.
Yes and no. I mean, anyone can pick up their phone, download TikTok, create just a normal profile page or a business account, and go for it. Okay, because it really doesn't matter if you're, a brand new user, 6 months into using the platform, or 2 years, or so on and so forth. You'll always be judged on that video. The same way as someone using it from day one, as someone using it as into year two. But it's the kind of it's the repetitiveness of using this platform and only seeing 250, 300 viewers, and you're not getting any, anything from it, which then becomes frustrating, and then people quit or uninstall the app from their phone.
Yeah.
So if you actually, understood what the platform wants before you even posted that one first video, because the platform actually gives you a little bit of grace when you do open up a brand new account and post your very first video, because at the end of the day, every platform will do this, and TikTok does it, is they want to retain their users. They want to keep people hooked on their phone, scrolling through as long as possible. So if you actually post a video, so one of my new accounts actually, Steve, and that I did last year, bit of testing, my very first video got 5 million views for it
Wow.
on a brand new account. I was like, wow, amazing. That had me hooked. And I was just like, right, I'm going to make a real go at this. I did some testing, other things. Another video went viral for like 3.6 million. And then I started to not get any views. Okay. And this is where, as soon as you understand what the platform wants from you, you understand the key metrics is it's after, that's where you can refine your structured bit of content and the context you're putting into that creative. That's where you can actually make a real impact at using this platform correctly, rather as just hit and hope, post whatever, and hope we get views. Like you need to be way more structured than just posting a random trend or video or idea that you had on that day and posting it willy-nilly and hoping for the best.
So when you talk about what the platform wants from you, what do you mean by that?
So essentially, there are a lot of metrics is that TikTok are after. I would be here for hours, Steve, if I got into it, but
Hmm.
I'll tell you one.
just in
Bit of
general
advice.
terms.
So essentially, right, when you post a video, because this is across the board of all users. So when you post a video, you have to one go through two bits of stages of retention. Then the third bit is engagement. So level one, because there's 8 levels to this game on TikTok, there's actually 4 different subjects, but I'll just talk about the levels. The level one, you have to achieve 5 second retention from its users. So when you
Right.
go to post a video, you have to achieve at least 5 seconds from 50% of people who viewed that video. What we then get is allocated 500 viewers. So out of them 500 viewers, at the time of being posted onto TikTok, you have to achieve 5% retention, which then, if we achieve that, we actually go into what's called level two. Level two is then we get allocated 2,000 viewers. If we achieve 35% full retention, then we go on to level three, which is then engagement. And we will then get allocated 20,000 viewers. Again, this is all to do with what TikTok needs. This is his feedback. This is his testing process before you get into levels 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which is then human verification. So we must understand what TikTok wants first to then go into like the human verification stages. Again, hold on, you guys. Shush. That's yes. Are you going out to play? Yeah, come on, get out. And that's where obviously when we understand the first 3 levels and we structure our content to sort of beat that, that's where we then go into levels 4, 5 and get 1 million views, 10 million, 100 million. The sky's the limit as soon as you get past the initial TikTok phase of what it wants from us.
So that's really interesting that the way that that works in the fact, like you say, you get that first 5 seconds, and then they'll throw 500 viewers at you,
Yeah,
and then you get that 35% retention, and then they'll throw another 2,000 viewers at you.
yeah,
It's really, really interesting to see. So really, what you're saying is your content has to grab people right from the go, and it
yeah.
has to be interesting. Is there a particular I suppose we're in a very, very fast-driven consumer world now that we live in, and attention span is very, very small. So with the obviously, I think YouTube introduced shorts, and Facebook are now doing it, and now they've moved on
Mm,
to LinkedIn. They're doing short reels,
yeah.
and the typical comment is, don't do a reel that's longer than a minute. Keep your all of your reels to
Mm.
less than a minute. Is TikTok the same? Are they saying, do they give advice on how long a reel should be, or what are they talking about?
So let's say the average online guru, shall we say, of social media will say post 15 seconds, 30 seconds to a minute. Absolutely not. The platform, okay, TikTok will say post 15 seconds, but what you actually need to do is post 7 to 10 second videos. Now, for most people, that is going to be very difficult to squeeze all of that bit of context into that type of video. So again, this is where I then sit down on a 1, 2, 3 hour sort of webinar and explain at certain points of the video at what you need to do to trigger that the retention, to trigger someone from stop to scroll and go, oh, what's this about? And they'll watch your video and hopefully engage with it. So essentially, yes, one of the key things is shortening the video. 15-second videos. I've posted them. I've tested on many accounts. They do and they don't work. The majority of my videos that get passed into levels 2 and 3 are the very short ones, which are 7 to 10 seconds videos. And again, that's where the editing sort of phase comes in, using CapCut, captions, whatever platform you sort of use, software, will come into play then. So again, that's where you've got to learn how to be a creator, learn how to be an editor, and then also do all the picking and packing and sorting the orders, running your day-to-day business as a service provider, and all the rest of it. So there's a lot to take in. But again, as soon as you understand everything, the world's your oyster.
Wow, it's really interesting. I suppose the 7 second videos, like you're talking about as well, it's easy to get to it's easy to get past that first 5 seconds, and then just have
Mm,
another couple of seconds on,
exactly.
to hit your full 35.
Because then you're scoring 80% of your
Yeah,
retention. and the other
And then
20's
people going,
dropping
"Oh, this
off.
is interesting, an interesting little short. We'll show it." So the platform does that.
And then just to highlight the other three. So what tends to happen with anyone who is doing TikTok Shop, and the same as creators, but we'll focus on TikTok Shop. So when you're opening a shop and you choose a category, whatever you go into, beauty, pets, mums and babies, whatever it is, fashion, your videos are only judged by the category you're under. So the competition then gets a little bit more slimmer. So you're
Mhm.
not so you're only competing against everyone in the same category. What then happens is you then get judged on the same time, the same length, the same level, and the same audience. So then I've got three more subjects to sort of dive into, which then is like an hour long. So yeah, very informative. When people are like really understanding of it, they'll get grasps of this platform like straight away. But yeah, there's a lot more into it than just the 8 levels I've just sort of briefly gone over.
God dear Lord. Um, yeah, I can understand why you're a specialist, buddy, because it's so in depth.
It really is, yeah.
It really, really is in depth. So, with regards to your course, so how are you sort of promoting your courses? Are you promoting your courses on TikTok, or are you promoting them through other methods? And how can people get in touch with you if they've watched this podcast and they've sat there and thought, you know what, that was really interesting. This fella really knows his stuff. And if you are watching, trust me, Dave really knows his stuff. But if they want to get in touch with you, how can they get in touch with you?
Several ways. The one thing I will say is, even though I know a lot about TikTok, I don't use it as much as I should because I'm helping everyone else get better results. It's just one of them. You don't work
Yeah.
on your own business, you work on everyone else's.
It's that
So
builder who lives in an unbuilt house, isn't it? It's the same
ex
scenario. Yeah, yeah,
exactly, yeah, the conservatory's never built, but everyone else is on the street is.
yeah,
So essentially, if people do want to get in touch, the best way is probably Instagram because I do like daily stories on that. So I'm quite up to date on that. I actually use that on a daily. So Instagram, if you can search up David Young, or I'm sure we'll put all the links in this, Steve, in the
yeah. We'll
description.
put the links in the end.
But if
Absolutely.
you type in TikTok Shop Business Expert, hold on, is that even right with my bloody name? TikTok Shop Business Mentor. If you
Right.
type that in, people will find me, DM me, or obviously we'll include my email for everyone to go on, or LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So either way, there's loads of ways to contact me. And again, I have the website interlinkranking.com. Again, we'll tag that as well.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, obviously, you're going to be doing a webinar for the members of Business Boost Academy in the next, so I think it's this February the 6th. We're doing that one,
Yeah,
which will also be recorded and be up for the members on Business Boost Academy to watch and everything else. But Dave, that's been so fascinating. It's been really, really informative. Like I say, a bloke in his early 50s learning about all these social media platforms is quite mind blowing for someone like with a tiny little mind like mine. But I really want to thank you very much for your time this morning, mate. It's much appreciated. And I'm sure we'll catch up on the phone at some other point in the not too distant. But have an amazing rest of your day, my friend.
excellent. Thank you very much for having me, Steve. And just to add as well, because I'm sure this will go out way before, is March the 26th, I'm doing a talk at the B2B Expo. It's in Coventry.
All right, yeah.
So I'm doing a talk there about TikTok. I'm going to actually try and pull off a live demonstration on how data works. So hopefully I can squeeze this unfathomable speaker role that I'm sort of doing, post a video, talk about data, reveal it after, I've got 20 minutes of doing it live. So I've got that going on. I'm also in September this year, I'm at the Ideas Festival. Idea Fest is what it's
Oh,
called.
yeah, 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 yeah.
That's a 2 day festival for small businesses. I think there's like 4,000 attendees that turn up. So again, lots of speakers turn up, but I'm going to be exhibiting there as well. So anyone who's into that, grab a ticket. It's so good. I wanted to do it last year, but doing it this year. So yeah, a couple of
Yeah, I know a
options for
number of people
people.
have done Ideas Fest and they found it absolutely brilliant. So
I just hope the weather's all right.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
from previous photos, it's all sunny, but you never predict the UK weather, can you?
You never can. You never can. Fantastic, mate. I really appreciate your time this morning. You have a fantastic day, and we'll catch up soon.
Thank you so much, Steve. And again, anyone in the group, just at me, and I'll help you with all your TikTok questions.
Lovely. Take care, bud.
Cheers, mate. Bye bye.